All right.
Hello and good evening, Free Enterprise fans. My name is Dathis. I'm here in the commentary booth with PK4787, and we are going to be your commentators for tonight's match of Kohrek versus Fryz123. Restreaming is being handled by our good friend Baka Shinobi, so you will not hear any puns tonight, thankfully. I'll see what I can do to try and make up for the last time. We also have Akir as our tracker tonight. How you doing tonight, PK?
I'm doing well. I'm excited for this race. We were discussing earlier Kohrek, relatively new runner, but has been putting up some good times. And Fryz, at least personally, a complete unknown. I would say relative unknown, but I can't say I've seen them participate in any Discord races. So I guess we're gonna find out what we've got as these racers kick off. But looks like we have a Kane, pretty decent early game character, and should be launching here in a minute or so.
Sorry, I can't hear you over the best character in the game. 100%. No, I'm
forgot.
Anytime
I
I
forgot who I was commentating with.
Anytime I see a Kane start, I'm always happy with that. Again, all I ever really ask, let's see some music required. Let's see, some rude bosses some places. Not all the time, but sometimes you gotta have it, because I've seen some of the races lately. They've been going very well. The big thing is, are we gonna have to go to the moon today, or is it gonna be another Moons Haunted?
That's very true. We've seen a lot of the more obvious objectives, as in the dwarf castles and the specific location fights on the moon. At least from what I've been watching, we haven't seen nearly cruel enough seeds for these runners. If anyone is not aware, it's 5 random objectives. In order to get the crystal, you get the crystal. That opens up your final boss, Zeromus fight. So it could be any type of objective, but thus far, a lot of them have been relatively quick seeds for at least what I was used to when I was practicing these.
Yeah, I think the longest seed we've had has been just shy of just a little over 2.5 hours. We are getting underway. So we have Kohrek and Fryz starting. We have an Edward as our second, and Lunar Sparkle sitting in Baigan with a Darkness Crystal. Okay, so that opens up the complete of the moon, gives another free character check right there, which if you're really looking to just immediately bolster your ranks, or if you even just want to check to see what's going on, it could be something nice and quick and easy like that.
Free character, one additional shop with some potential higher rated items, and potentially an edge or a foo, either of the gated characters as well. So this could potentially be real fast, at least as far as damage goes early.
All right, and here we have with the Guiding Way. Wow, that is a interesting set of things we have. We have the Conquer the Vanilla White Spear, the Tower of Zot, so Earth Crystal required, Hostage on Hobbs, Giant of Babel, and Sealed Cave. So we are going to see a Luca key. So that's 3 key items required right there. We have one of the 3. So we have the Darkness Crystal for that. We need the Luca key, so we need to find that under there. It's actually pretty fantastic. With what we've got going on. We got a divergence of looting right now. Kohrek's checking out Damasian, whereas we have Fryz checking out Baron, seeing the character there. I actually personally glanced over. Who's in
it was DKC was at Baron.
Who's guarding him?
I also did not see that.
It's all good.
Trying to keep track of all the loot.
Oh yeah, it's always the problem. It's like, oh, what loot are we getting right now? Okay, that's a black robe. Very good if we find a black mage. Right now, though, we have the Spoonward Dragoon Helm, one of the better armor pieces early on, resisting in elements of 3 different types. Not exactly anything offensive-wise, but if you're looking for Kane to be able to tank some early hits, the Dragoon armor is one of the great ways to start. We have Kohrek already starting a little bit of a boss hunt, it looks like. We do need to get that D-Mist maybe at one point. To get that key item, because there are no free lunches. Instead, just Bahamut. See you later, my friend. Easy-ish boss out of the way, considering we start with Starveils, so not something you want to see somewhere there, but still good to be gone.
And as you said, there are no boss hunts outside of the usual search for Derek Mist, our good friend. So, really, the running around is going to be all key item based here.
Yeah, we have Kohrek diving right into Antlion Cave, and we have Fryz checking out the loot in Mist. The nice thing is with the flags we have on S standard and T standard, doesn't matter where you go and check. That is a very nice Gaia drum, by the way. One of those J items that you don't normally see. What it's going to do, it casts Quake on everything, so that's going to be very handy if you find an early set, say, the dolls or the Magus sisters where they've got a low HP spot. Gaia drum makes very quick work out of them.
That is the easiest way to clear out, particularly a block of enemies. And seeing that Hobbs is required, I expect to see people going up there. We're gonna hopefully shortly get our first look at the Antlion boss. And I don't think it should be a problem with that equipment for Kane.
Yeah, Dancing Dagger with Karate on Edward. That's going to be a very, very spoony bard we got going on there. Kane's going to be doing some okay damage. We do have a Blizzard Spear for sale in Mist. Not exactly something you want to go out of your way to find and spend money on, but it is one of Kane's, I think, third best weapon as an overall. But just absolutely great for if you find the elements or Rubicante anywhere. He's going to be doing great damage there. Well, no longer a D-Mist hunt. There's a double 2-for-1 value in Antlion Cave here, though.
That is correct. Now, let's see how much damage we can get out. Oh, I forgot about the Dancing Dagger. This won't be too long.
No, this is going to be a short and sweet fight. This is the Edward carry. These are the different Eddie strats than what some people do. Yeah, as mentioned in chat by Inven, you're absolutely right. No boss hunt needed whatsoever. This is basically, you've got freedom all over the place here.
Oh, you're just hunting
Come
key
on,
items.
is this randomized? What's going on here? Sander being Antlion Cave.
The second free character, assuming somebody makes their way to the moon.
Yeah, so that is nice, and that character being gated behind a key item is have a higher chance of being Edge or Fu, two really great characters early on. Especially if you find yourself the Fu specifically. Fu's makes it really easy. He does have a lot of HP. He does not come with all of his spells immediately, but he does come with a fair chunk of them. He's going to have a lot of MP, and if you're looking for a healer right now, Kohrek looks like he's going absolutely right to do the double check. This is the smart one right now.
So we'll get one free item from Derek. See what Rydia's mother decides to transform into.
And there's a Baron key. All right, so that is another character check right there, and another key item check after two bosses. So we know, again, one of them is the Lunar Sparkle, so we're not going to want to jump right into that. But that also opens up another weapon shop. So, again, still the possibility of some higher tier weapons in there. And because Kohrek hasn't done the looting here yet, kind of nice for him, because he gets to do the two for one, loot and check. So it's a nice loot and scoop.
Particularly for a place you don't always route in because there isn't an item shop. But maybe he'll be interested in that spear, although that price tag is a little inhibiting.
It is a little inhibiting, but some of the other gear that we've seen, like we've seen a lot of Dragoon armor. In all honesty, you just need one piece of it, sell the absolute rest of it, and you've got a fair bit of bank right there. So you could bankroll yourself some early items, some early armor, some early weapons. So it's not the worst thing to see. Again, though, it's just characters all over the place given. We do have him going and checking to see what we've got for sale. There's an Ogre Axe, too, so if we ever go do some trap chests, we have that. Icebrand, you no longer really need the Blizzard Spear. Icebrand is like a little bit of a down. And there's a Fu. This is the seed that is just giving everything to us.
So maybe you do want to hunt some of those free bosses. I was about to say that Dark Knight Cecil looking less and less important as far as wanting to do ordeals, but now if you're looking to get Fu online as quickly as possible, every boss you kill is 100 HP and 3 additional spells, and there are 3 up on ordeals that shouldn't be too difficult to get through at this point.
Yeah, you got 2 bosses on ordeals. There is also the 2 bosses in Baron Inn right there, so that's a lot of spells. Plus, there's also the simple fact if you can go to Mist Cave if there's something nice and easy there with that low HP marker, you've got another 3 spells just right there. We do have Fryz going and fighting the D-Mist. Again, Dancing Dagger and Kane doing some jumps. Looks like he's got a different weapon on his Kane, doing a good about 300-ish damage on those jumps. Gonna be probably a 3-4 turn clock going on here.
Not going to be an issue here, and I mean the attack power is so low that this is, as far as Derek's hide and seek skills go, not the most dangerous place to locate yourself.
Absolutely, and we have Kohrek, it looks like throwing on that ice brand, giving a bandana to Kane, and going to be heading right up Mount Hobbs. Again, the smart place to go. Get yourself some characters, see what team you're kind of looking at. Maybe, like chat's even saying, 15-minute D-Machine grind. That is 100% something possible, because we haven't checked shops for Sirens. We don't have that. But we do have, again, guaranteed weak caster. If we find a shop that has ethers, you could do something along those lines as well, and just throw those down. We do have Asura guarding Porum up here, so we do have a white mage. This fight, again, shouldn't be that hard. No real mage killer gear, but you've got Fu, which I don't think we've seen his spell list yet, so we're going to get a quick peek at that.
Yes, it will be interesting to see what Fu is working with here. Again, the dancing will do a fair amount of damage. Just fire 2. Oh, it looks like potentially going for a life lock as well.
Yeah, and yeah, that's a good, solid, almost 1,000 damage right there. Dancing Dagger, yeah, not long for this world. That could have been, don't even wait for the life lock, just burst it down. And we have Fryz hot on his heels, so we do have, again, the one objective complete immediately, which, very quick. Ogre Axe, don't even need to buy it, it's right there. Kohrek with that exit, still not going to check the back of Hobbs. There's 4 additional chests back there that you can do. Generally, it's a place you avoid when you don't have exit because it's the long walk out, but he did buy an exit specifically, so we do have that option. He could have had that option to just go. Fryz is going to take a little bit longer in this fight because obviously he doesn't have the Fu, but again, shouldn't take too long, probably another 3 or 4 turns outside of that.
Deciding not to go turn in that Sand Ruby, we'll see how long he goes before picking up that monster character. And
also, Fu. Yeah, and Fryz just doing a quick reset, didn't have Edward in the back row, took 1 punch from Asura and went down real quick, man.
Maybe deciding... Okay, there it is. After a quick roll by, going to go check on that Sand Ruby, so...
Yeah,
Party's here.
And a question asked in the chat, not possible for random objectives to be Dark Matter Hunt, correct? It cannot be a Dark Matter Hunt. Dark Matter Hunt and Giant Descent are their own specific flag sets. They have to be inputted manually for you to be doing that. Fryz is picking up his Fu, so it's going to catch up on there. Whereas we do have an Antlion sitting in for the first boss. So it's the first boss in Baron Inn right there.
Okay. As you said, I mean, if this is me running this seed, I definitely have my eyes out for some ethers with the idea of either getting that Cecil online, checking the other moon character, probably want to get rid of that Eddie, and then maybe just going right for that slingshot.
And Kohrek does find underground access in the Magma Key with defending that the area of Fabul. So we do have access to the entirety of pretty much everywhere, except for the top of Babel right now. Rune Ring would be very nice to throw on, would have been good to resist damage against mazes, but aside from that, just a solid piece of accessory. We are going to see the Fabul item shop check. Maybe Kohrek will find some potions here. Just some vampires, lives, and forages. The vampires themselves actually very beneficial early game. If you didn't find yourself a Fu, that does a lot of damage. Like you're looking at about 3 or so 100-ish as from an item. but our guys are so kitted out that it's absolutely unnecessary to have.
Meanwhile, we have Fryz stuck in one of the world's greatest NPC encounters. If you don't get into that shop and out fast enough, that old lady does not care that you are trying to go quickly.
Absolutely. Looks like we got a little bit of lag on that spot, but he should still be going. But yeah, as mentioned in chat, one of our runners needing to go to clear giant means you're not going to do some Eddie strats unless you keep them super low level and just use it as an anchor. But Edward is not going to shine the way it has in some other fight.
The amount of XP you're going to get out of there, as well as the amount of damage those bosses take. Although there are the Ether 2s.
Yeah, and in all honesty, at this point, you see Ether 2s, there's going to be your grind option right there. Just sell as much as you possibly can, and just buy all you can, because there is, again, your grind right there. You can just feed the old man Ethers. Even with only these 4 key items, this is your grind. You can just go get that 100% done, and you have all the levels where you can just face roll this seed. If you're looking for a jet seed, this is where you're getting it. And even black belts, just to add a little bit of insult to injury, gives Kane a little bit more of an attack boost. Not quite as good as the power shirt or even adamant armor, which isn't on for this seed, but still a really great option. And Kohrek just going right up ordeals.
I'm gonna take those 9 extra spells for Fu, get the Dark Knight Cecil online. And that will leave Cecil at level 1, which means perfect target for Slingshot up to just absolutely tremendous power, assuming you find a sword. If not, as was mentioned in our last race, the Ice Brand, not the worst thing to have.
Yeah, as I was mentioning before, we got kind of overwritten by the Fu hype. Again, Kane being able to wield a multitude of weapons, axes, spears, swords, and daggers. He has a lot of weapons at his disposal. That's a blue robe. Do we have a water hag or do we have a gauntlet we have to fight up here? Are you going to have to earn it? Here's the alt gauntlet. You want that Cecil upgrade, or if you want those Fu spells, you are going to earn them, my friend.
The gauntlet, the original fights have been replaced with 5 encounters of enemies commonly found in this area, in whatever area the gauntlet shows up. So it's going to take a hot minute to get through these, although I don't think the actual damage output is any concern at this point.
No, not at all. Fu, unfortunately, only knowing Ice 1. Fire, not exactly a spell you want to throw, especially on these spirits here. For those who remember, spirits absorb the fire elements, so that fire too kind of just sitting there while Fu gets to at least not be the star of the show right now. Let everyone else shine. He'll have his time. Or I'm even throwing out some arrows. I believe holy arrows looks like some damage there, but I could be wrong. Yeah, even Ice 1 on the base spirits throwing out a couple hundred damage. While Fry's making the heads-up play and going and checking the back of Hobbs, maybe some good loot back here. Crystal armor is a lot of money though, so that is the bank Hobbs right there.
That's a lot of money to get. A Kvalfin, also a very nice thing to have. Not available on the overworld shops, although, as we now know, everything basically is available. I was in one of the underground or the moon shops, but as you said, I mean, my guess here is still that when Kohrek finally gets weak up on this Fu, that we're going to see a quick jump up to the giant.
Yeah, and the question asked and answered in chat was, do the alt gauntlet give the XP of the encounters of the spot it is in? It is the encounters of the regular fight, so that's why depending on where you are, the alt gauntlet could actually be an alternate grind area. If it's somewhere on the moon and you get access to King Ryu, Ging Ryu fights, absolutely perfect. There was actually one shown on stream, I think a couple of days ago, where they did a grind with a summoner who summoned clappers. So it was a nice little alternate grind right there. So you had that option there.
And this will, as mentioned in chat, this is going to give some nice XP over what you would expect from going up this mountain. Should hopefully get Forum maybe to Berserk. But really, my mind right now is just getting Fu as many spells as possible. So I'm thinking White CD Baron in after this into Baron Castle will get you real close to what you need.
Yeah, unfortunately, just Ice 2 size and float. So we're still looking for him to know the weak spell. And we do have Baigen in the back attack. A little bit of a scary spot because this has got a fairly high attack area. But Quickfire 2 taking out those arms, they will come back and wall will go up. But with, again, the gear we've seen on Edward and Kane, absolutely going to be next to no damage. And with we have that Berserk going on Kane and eventually probably on Edward, really going to make just absolute fast work of this fight.
And with these levels with this Fu, Baigen could be a lot scarier than he is currently here.
Yeah, Kane throwing out 500 damage attacks. If he ever hits the body, that's the only problem with going on Berserk mode. You're not really hitting every target you can. 900 crits when there's no other targets, though, is going to do it. Meanwhile, on Fryz' screen, he did pick up the Magma Key, so he's in the exact same spot that Kohrek is. Basically, the entire galaxy kind of is at his oyster, because we have both the moon and underground full access. Interesting to see where he goes from here. Again, there's the other character checks that he knows that he can do. There is the possibility of, again, just going straight underground for more key item checks. But because the thing is we are still missing 2 different key items. That's where you want to do the most checks you possibly can.
Definitely. This is... with all of this available, I mean, we are hunting basically for 2 key items. So whoever locates those, given that, you know, they could be in any one of these things, they could be behind a chain. Hopefully, for your sake and for our sake, it's at least hidden somewhere.
And this is a boss you definitely want to see somewhere here. You absolutely see a Lunar Sparkle. The only thing it's giving is an Adamant. Not really good because we don't have Forge the Crystal on. It's you get these 5 key items, you get these 5 quests, you get the crystal, you can go fight Zeromus. Again, Virus unlocked, gonna give Fu some good DPS, but still not the spell we're really needing for. So just absolutely looking for more bosses for him to hunt. Whereas we have Fryz doing a different and going and rising up the whale immediately.
Yeah, we're getting some divergence here, which is nice. I personally would have gone up to check that character potentially immediately. But that's hopefully what we're going to get from this. And a shop check. Well, you do have to go to the Giant. There very well could be Sirens here. Sirens Hourglasses. And a weak spell on Fu makes those dragons pretty easy as well.
Absolutely, and again, you don't have the weak spell at this exact moment, so Sirens could get you so that your rest of your team's bumped up to a decent level where you can start running and face rolling a lot of the Gauntlet fights. Like, you can get the Dwarf Castle done, you can get completely all of Baron done, even the first boss in Zot if you're feeling a little bit sassy there, to try and just get him those spells so then you can go do the Giant, do your grind. But that also gives you the question is, when do you get happy with your team? Maybe you don't see people that you're happy. We do have the other twin, the Quack Kid, up on the altar. So we do have the possibility of a divergence into reflect strats, depending on if you want to go a full mage team.
We're getting close maybe to having a complete party. I am assuming I would take that Baron in fight for the 2 bosses and that Cecil who's going to be level 1. Maybe keep that Pound down as well, and then you're pretty much set up with a very, very good team for that grind.
Yeah, absolutely. You can just slingshot Cecil right from base level to as high as possible. Chat correcting me, actually, there was weak on Kohrek's side, so we do have that option. He does have that option of the grind immediately as soon as he finds the team that he's really happy with.
and then we're searching for 2 key items. Personally, I'm hoping something is behind a chain that leads through the not the sealed cave, sorry, the music cave. Still haven't seen much music in this tournament.
Not really. Thankfully, though, we do have a bit of value here in Mysidia. As you see, cursed rings mean that you can have any character basically you want as your anchor now. Normally, a lot of people say, oh, well, why do I want a cursed ring that lowers my stats? Well, that's what you want it for. You want the lowered stats. It gives minus agility, which can put you down to lower agility, means Zeromus in the end gets less turns. Same thing with every boss, so just nice and quick way of getting all that done, keeping yourself a nice low agility anchor.
Those are a very important item. As we saw in our race Monday that we commentated, you do not want Zeromus to be any faster than you have.
And Cecil blocked by a Golbez as well. Not exactly. It's a good-ish area for him to be. Semi-high HP, but also a spot where it's just got a lot of attack. Its magic power, I believe, is kind of relatively weak, even with that the lit slot, but it's the lit 3 that he can throw out there, lit and virus being his 2 most damaging spells, but still not the worst place for it to be.
No, considering there's a tower, there's a required white spear, required giant clear, definitely not the worst place to run into Golbez. Definitely hoping that your Fu stays up during this fight, though.
Absolutely. And speaking of Fu, Kohrek has just learned Quake, so he's got that natural damaging spell. So any boss from here on in is going to be absolutely an easy cakewalk. As we see on Fryz' side, his Porum and his Fu are both up, so that's kind of what you want to see. You got your healer to heal people. You got your mop to go clean up the fights, and it's going to be nice to see if Kohrek pulls ahead of this fight specifically here. But yeah, as asked in chat, right now who's ahead? It's kind of even. Fryz has done a little bit of an extra character check. Kohrek's done a little bit of extra running around, but it's very heads up right now.
I mean, while they're both at the same fight, keep in mind Kohrek has done Mount Ordeals, so he's up that check. While it didn't really reward much, the Fu is 300 hit points higher, 9 spells stronger. I think that Ordeal's not required, not necessarily a huge edge.
No, and again, it's the bosses I think are going to make the big difference. Like we said, those 3 bosses. Ordeal's slowing it down a little bit, having that Gauntlet fight. Fryz has got his week online from his, and we have Hook Seed, so we have everywhere open now. So that's another character check, another shop check going on there. Could check Evelyn to see what kind of fun things are there. Is he going to keep Cecil? Yes, he is. So long, our spoony friend. We aren't going to see much more of you. You carried us through the early part. Whereas Kohrek is currently on reflecting Golbez's lit 3s. You see even about 300 damage. Probably going to do even less to Kane with that Dragoon armor on.
So not a huge threat here, and no XP, so you really just want to get through this as quickly as possible. No point in, trying to get everybody up for any particular reason when Golbez is just going to bring himself to the ground. I mean, he always asks why, but, he keeps casting spells on himself, so you feel like you would figure it out at some point.
He asks why, I ask why not. So we do have Kohrek getting his hook as well. Probably going to make a dip into Baron, because again, that's another character check. Whereas we have Fryz now retracing Kohrek's footsteps. We're going to have him go up the Mount Ordeals after collecting that Cecil, and going to be getting himself some Adamant, which isn't going to be doing him any good aside from just being an extra item in that key item for the 10 key items.
And, I mean, Giant looking probable. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what Fry's experience level will be as far as the D Machine grind, or Kohrek, who, while a good runner, is still slightly new, and that's the type of grind that if you're not comfortable with it, you can really give up a lot of time.
Oh, 100%.
So potentially heading underground. Sirens, very valid grind opportunity considering we can get up to the moon. With that level 1 Cecil, I mean, personally, you can make him just the absolute monster of the seed if you're willing to go up and kill about 15 D machines.
Absolutely, and again, only the ice brand on him, but that's still a very solid weapon option. There is still other places they need to check. They haven't looted Toria yet. There is, as we see, Rose's mom house, which is a crystal shield, which you can either keep that on him for a lot of resistances, or again, more money. As we saw in the Baron. Actually, this is our revive. We make her a physical DPS. Not something you want to do, but it's the option there if you're feeling a little bit, if you want to have her do more than just throw up some spells.
True. She might make a replacement for Eddie if we see her here at Baron. That Dragon Whip could potentially be helpful if you end up grinding on the moon, or even those eggs. So I guess we're going to have to see what character we get here, and I mean, no one's gone underground to even shop check at this point, so there's not that much information as to what, whether there are sirens, where there are sirens, coffins, anything like that.
Yeah, I think we haven't had Toria proper checked. We haven't had any of the underground shops checked. We haven't had Evelyn checked yet. We didn't even get the moon shop. There is still I think at that point 7 shops. Chat can correct me if I'm wrong. To see how many chances we still have at items. So we have Tomra, Toria, the moon, Dwarf Castle, and Evelyn. Yep. So that's 5. Oh, that's 5 right there that I can think of off the top of my head. And we have Plague being our Sparkle boss.
Plague.
I mean, again, not much you're going to do. Virus going to make super quick work of them. Even going to be casting on Cecil just for that revive for the recount trap.
He's either going to go for the revive, or he's setting up again for that slingshot.
Both work. It looks like...
Up there it is. Okay.
If anything, reviving for time, you're sitting at 4 seconds. You need that little bit extra time. Chat us seeing if we can get some Within as King with the moon rule the earth kind of thing. That'd be a fun little part. But with Virus up, he may have attacked a little bit too soon. Ooh, just a little bit too soon. Yeah. Plague didn't get that next fatal off. So reset, not a big deal. It happens.
Take the save at the save point either, and as you said, not a huge loss, but just no one likes rewalking the same path.
Yeah, and whereas we have Fryz going through his Gauntlet fight, actually getting a Lilith in one of the encounters, which is something you really like seeing. One of the best monsters to give experience at this area. One of the better grind spots on the overworld.
But with the old school hook seeds and sirens in the Zima zone, you ran into a lot more people taking advantage of them there. You can throw Cure 2s on them. They're weak to fire, and they do give a few thousand experience apiece.
Yeah, as we saw, about 3,000 XP. About to get the back attack spot by again with this team here, especially with the Palom, gonna be next to no issue. Did forget to change his rows around. Probably not going to really matter much because you're going to want to have Fusoya doing the majority of the heavy lifting as it is. That fire's going to do a whole heck of a lot of damage. Whereas Palom's just not going to be able to throw out the DPS due to the wall that's going to be put up.
And for those asking in chat, he did kill off his Cecil and then bring him back to life, but Plague... the more Plague fights you do, the more Plague kind of occasionally gets lazy about bringing anybody back or recasting. So he killed his Cecil again before the actual count went back off.
Another question in chat: what's banned in this flag set? The only thing that's banned is the adamant armor. There are no adamants in these seeds whatsoever. And we are S standard and T standard means that shops across everywhere have the same weighting as everything. Same with the chests. Normally, depending on if we had S Pro, which we will be throwing up once we're out of the Swiss rounds, you're going to see some areas are going to have higher loot chances. You're going to see, for example, the waterway is going to have a little bit higher of a loot chance than Baron because it doesn't really have a notable boss, and there's not really anything you want to go there for, and just other options. Whereas right now, it's basically the entire world is even. Poison Axe, really great weapon for Kayn or Cecil right there, or also just fantastic to sell for some great money.
Yeah, that's a decent pickup. We're still looking for, you know, that ultimate weapon for Cecil, but that's certainly going to tide you over in the meantime.
And Baron is in fact populated by the moon. It is Pale Dim, a boss that you absolutely don't mind seeing here, because he can be very rude later. Question in chat, does Fu have weak? Both Fus have weak, so there's a D machine grind on the table for everybody right now.
And it's looking potentially probable for Kohrek, as he is keeping this Cecil at level 1 for the double XP. And having not made any trips underground for either runner yet, we'll see if that's where they head off to next, or if we're looking at going up to the Giant.
Yeah, and Fryz collecting himself the official Paladin and getting himself the Adamant right here, and going to be fighting those D-Lunars 100% easy fight right here. Whereas on
there's Iridia. You were predicting the future here.
So we do have a very possible way of going towards reflex stats as it is already, considering we know where Palom is, and you're going up to the moon anyway, or you could go up to the moon. So we do have Palom, we have Fu, and we have Porum. With Rydia now adding a 4th mage, reflex strats are very, very possible.
And that Rydia is going to be low level. If he gets that Palom as well, he'll have 3 people to slingshot. Could be a lot of power, a lot of nukes very soon.
Absolutely. Question in chat, how are they at 3 if they haven't went down yet? So the way it works is the tracker is showing which objectives they have completed. Of the 5 objectives they have completed objective 3. They are not on objective 3 of 5. It's both have done Mount Hobbs. They still need to conquer the White Spear Altar. They still have to do Tower of Zod, and they still have to do the rest of them. It can be done in any order necessary.
Yep, this is interesting. Maybe he goes to the Giant here. Definitely that character check on the moon right before you do the slingshot Kohrek. Well, I don't think it's gonna be the end of the world. You're certainly gonna kick yourself knowing that you also had that Quack Kid sitting there.
100%. And we did see a pass from Baron, so not quite a really key item check. He is going to the Giant of Babel, so it seems like we are going to get the D-Machine grind right away, it looks like here, because with those levels there, you don't want to face the bosses that are currently in Giant. They have some of the highest HP in the game. CPU, I think, is second only to Zeromus and maybe the D-Lunar spot. But definitely the Rude bosses, these are where the Rude boss locations are most.
This is, while it is required, if you noticed in our objectives, this trip is first and foremost to get your team to the end game levels that you want them at, as there's a required moon fight, and then Kohrek's got 2 key items to track down.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. It's not just like, oh, he's going to do this and then he can go right up to the moon and what now. But he does have to still track down the 2 key items required, the Earth Crystal and the Loot Key. Question in chat, what level do the twins start as? As you can see right there, level 10, both of them is what they come in as. But yeah, that's the big thing. It's, do you just get your grind out of the way and then start face stomping the seed, or do you find more characters? Because later on, you could find someone, say, in Dwarf Castle that tickles your fancy a little bit more than, say, Kayn or Cecil, or you could decide, hey, maybe there's a duplicate Fusoya somewhere, so there is that possible as well.
Bring the Fu up to the top. Let's see. Typically, you're going to want to keep Fu, the cast accuracy is highest for the middle character.
It's also
He's
it may
trying
be
to step
highest.
that.
It may be highest for middle character, but the top character has the second highest accuracy, so it is the best spot to do it, especially if you throw a low agility character in that middle spot, such as Kiria. She has the lowest, nice low agility, so nothing's going to be moving fast, and you still have that accuracy in the top slot from for Fusoya to land those weeks.
It is true. I mean, Fu is a pro. I don't see him missing too many weeks.
Always better to be safe than sorry, my friend. That's my motto. Question in chat, WL, yes, that's their current win-loss record. This is round 1 of the Swiss rounds, so this is their first race. So this is their first round through.
Not getting the right fight in that one. We saw this yesterday if you're watching Antidale's race. It's difficult to tell whether you're going to get the D machines or that knight until you take out those initial 2 beamers.
Absolutely. Additionally, we do see the super diversions, whereas we have Kohrek going and doing a grind. We have Fryz going and doing a key item hunt, going and seeing the Bed Yang to then go see Sheila, opens up that check. Might even see him dip into the Fey March and go and check that free key item there. There's that possibility.
So, divergence here, these are the 2 probably optimal paths. Assuming you can find sirens, you can do a mini grind to at least levels where you can clear the underworld, and that will also get you in a position to check a lot of key items, while the D machine grind is going to put you at endgame, but you're still going to have to hunt through and go through all this stuff as well.
And speaking of D machine grind, Kohrek does get lucky, but lucky second time every time. Has that D machine ready to go. As you see, they don't even do regular damage. That fire does HP percentage damage, so then you just get the weak going, get the hit, and then start throwing those life potions.
That's right. I mean, this video at 30 HP is going to stay up just as long as anyone else in this fight.
And the nice thing is with having Rydia at such a low level, as long as she hits it, that's 1 HP. You don't have to worry about the Searcher's HP. He's just going to be taking all these hits, no problem. Whereas we do definitely have Fryz going and checking Fey March, going down for that hidden chest, finding mute bells. Again, great items against specific bosses, one being the Baron guards, makes that fight absolutely
And there's the Bahamut summon.
not bad. Rydia, again, with the way the grinds can happen in this, it's great for her for early game. He hasn't found Rydia yet. He might just straight up sell it, knowing that, again, we have Fusoya and all these other characters accessible like this. I would just straight sell that. It's not worth, as he did right there.
Yep.
That's great money, because we'll have Nuke eventually. You'll have Meteo. Bahamut is really great early, but once you get to about the mid game, the amount of MP it costs versus everything else doesn't exactly hold up. Especially once you get Quake, which Fusoya specifically has, you have those to take over that spot.
Fun to cast, fun to have, but the utility of it.
Oh, 100%.
Less
Still
than
one of the best
ideal.
ones in the world. Checking just illusions and Thor Rages. And illusions, those are actually a lot higher of a price than what people might think because of the simple fact of how powerful they are. There was some item rebalancing done in the 4.0.0 that we have. As you see, illusions being able to cast that blink had a lot of utility added into it because that's a free 2 melee hits that you get to tank without worrying. Getting a look at some underground bosses. Speaking of free melee hits, that's an Octomom right there. That's basically a free key item with the team that we have there. Long grind, but freeze all heck. With either Rubicante or Elements beside. Again, bosses that aren't required, but still good to know what's down there.
You can check those off the list. There's no boss hunt, there's no character hunt. So we're searching key items, so those aren't the worst fights to see in those locations if you do end up back down there wanting to take them on.
Exactly.
I'm hoping to see, some more shop checks here would be nice.
But the real question is, are we going to get a seed validation? We've had only a handful of people remember about seed validation. Bacchus, there are Bacchus wines for sale though, so that could mean
nice
Berserker strats are super on the table.
Maybe searching out maybe a light sword for.
Yeah, right now
Cecil?
here you're looking for some better weapons for your Cecil, because like Ice Spear, Ice Brand, as nice as it is, the early boss that really resists ice is out of it. Fryz,
Not validated. Not validated.
Invalid seed. Oh wait, hold on. Oh no, this has to go. Movement for the airship. The Ice Brand, again, I love the Ice Brand. It's one of my favorite weapons. In vanilla, it's a weapon that carries you for so long, especially if you do the Warp Glitch, where you go and you can basically skip the entirety of Sealed Cave, where you don't get that lightsaber. It can carry you through a lot of fights. Again, does a lot of work against Rubicante and the elements, which we can see Rubicante on the seed, where if we go to fight him. So it's not unheard of for it still to be a great weapon. But Excalibur, Crystal Sword, something along those lines, maybe even a better spear for Kane, better weapon for Kane, is probably what Fryz is looking for while we take a dip into Dwarf Castle.
Okay, gonna shop check first. Again, Sirens. I still don't think we saw up top on the moon. I don't know if anyone's looked there. Kohrek, it's not going to have any need for Sirens shortly, but
yeah, Fryz being the only one up to the moon hasn't checked them. We do have a boss back there. I didn't quite catch. I think that was Mom Bomb I saw.
Mom Bomb.
So the lovely thing about Mom Bomb, one, this is a very bad spot-ish for us to be at, because this spot does a very weird thing for stats. So it takes the overall HP that you have, or the HP of the area, but it also took the attack of the big doll of Calcabrina, not Cal or Brina, but Calcabrina. And the attack spot there, if you're not blinking, you're taking a large amount of damage. For example, Dark Knight Cecil there does about, I think, 600-700 damage per dark wave, and his is based solely off attack power. So it's not a spot you really want to have to go check. Fryz resetting out, 100% don't blame him for that.
Yep,
just going to be going out and checking the rest of Baron with that Baron key. Going to get himself the pass, maybe pick himself up the radio while we're at it.
This is definitely a more simple check, and knowing what bosses are here, and then even getting through that Mom Bomb fight, you have to hope that your foo is still up, because that second fight, if it's the wrong person, well, there's low total HP there. You definitely don't want to get wiped, because you never even get a chance to cure up your team.
Kohrek is through his fight. I didn't see quite exactly how many, or he's done his grind. 53 levels on Rydia. That puts him at level 54. Not quite Medio. Should be Nuke. There's Nuke right there. 7 levels on Cecil, gaining crap load of levels. I think it's on 57. Healed 26 on one, 27 on Kane, and 26 on Kane, 27 on Forum. Just a lot of levels overall. That's the team you want. And all you get for all that grind is just a single soft. Come on, man. Where's all the items supposed to be at?
You can get some hourglasses and
look at that HP right there. You have them going from their base HP to more HP than you're ever going to need to deal with.
Upridia is online. Paladin Cecil online. And probably getting demoted to Agility Anchor at this point.
The thing is you may say Agility Anchor at this point. I would actually disagree. I love my boy Kane. You know how much I love Kane. I would actually put him, either him or Cecil, as your Agility Anchor right now, because Fu has Quake. Fu has all these other spells, and he's really high up there. Your armor is not exactly fantastic. So what you want to have to do is you want to make it so that you have a lot of your damage, which is going to be coming from your mage, your Fu, and your Rydia right now. Like, again, Cecil and Kane, their weapons are okay, and they're acceptable to go through, but the majority of your damage is straight coming from mages at this point.
I do agree, but I think... Oh, that's a fun one.
French vanilla
That's
CPU.
awesome.
This is not really where you want to see them because this is actually I believe a higher HP spot than what you're looking for at elements, because the thing is all the HP at elements is normally split between those 4 bosses and those 4 phases. So if you can do a lot of damage in one spot, you can just immediately bypass other phases. But yeah, and this is
the remedy for 6,500. This is the worst possible spot to be facing CPU.
So, as you also saw, did you just see how much damage that nuke did and did not take down that attacker node in one hit?
Oh, this is going to be a long one, and the CPU is a wall up on itself, so you have no opportunity to use these new spells. You can't berserk.
So interestingly, you actually can berserk. There is 2 things you could start doing here. One, you can cast wall on one of your characters because that mazer is barely scratching you. So you can cast wall on one of your characters.
He's going for the float.
And he did actually
float hit.
He float the attacker node. Okay, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Okay, so there's one strat he can still do. You say you can't do blink strats, or you can't do attacks here?
Yeah, you blink up.
Because you could throw blink on the attacker node, and then just have your berserker keep going to town, and have one white mage dedicated specifically to blink the attack node. So that way, if you hit the attack node, you get a little unhappy with that roll, but you're not going to be taking any damage at that point. Another thing you could have done is, if you wanted to dedicate a healer straight to it, say Porum, he could have, again, with Reflect strats, just have Rydia go nuke Reflect, and then just, if you get a heal on the attacker, or hit on the attacker, you throw a Cure 3, Cure 4. But yeah, this is basically the best you could have asked for. They look like they're floating, they aren't actually. So you float that attack node, and you're just all done with the Cryon. That is a lot of HP you're gonna have to get through, though.
This is probably the fastest available way to get through this HP, but there's a lot of it, and this is just the probably the longest fight you're gonna find in Free Enterprise potentially.
Yeah. So Fryz is through the 2 fights in Baron Castle. Looks like absolutely no problem for him. Does turn down that Rydia. Having the Quack Kid, I thought he would go for more mage strats, but probably just a bigger fan of Pylum by comparison to Rydia. Again, that's a religious argument, and we don't talk about that here. I'm a bigger fan of Rydia myself.
And you're wrong, but it's okay. Can't be right all the time. But I mean, probably regretting maybe selling that Bahamut summon right off the bat, given the current levels that he's rocking. But yeah, the Palmardy with Quake, particularly given those levels, it's a pretty easy choice between the 2.
Yeah, and we have Fryz picking up his pass as well, seeing exactly what we're going to have to be doing. So we don't know exactly where he's going to go. It looks like he's back underground. Might be taking the second shot at Dwarf Castle, exactly where he's beelining it for. So going to have another shot at those bosses there. Again, levels by comparison. Oh, he has not done a save yet. So he is going in guns blazing. Oh, just checking the item shop right.
Auntie, you are definitely right. There's enough damage where even if you whiff 1 or 2 hits, or the attacker takes a couple hits, it's still going to be fine. I think what's going through Kohrek's mind right now is that the weapons that he has aren't so strong where you think you're gaining that much from that Berserker bonus.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing that what I was saying. Is like when you get the Reflect strats, just heal up the node in between, so that way you can again have one person dedicated healing the nodes. Again, Porum with that Cure 4 doing 1,000 to the entirety of the party, be doing more than that to just the attacker node. Could 100% just
you did
have
see
her...
I mean, the defender was healing 6,500 health, so one mistake and that defender comes back up and you lose a lot of work.
That's fair, but that's what I was saying. It's you have Porum dedicated as a pure healer on that attacker node, so you have your Berserk strats going. You have Fusoya helping with with blink strats on the attacker node, but it doesn't matter because enough quakes and you get the rocks going down there 100%. Now you can just have Rydia nuke that for great victory.
And I mean, it's a long enough fight where we might as well cover every different strategy that was available for it. So we had about 6 minutes to talk about it.
Absolutely. And speaking of different strategies, we have on Fry's side is back in that Mom Bomb fight. Looks like he's going just for regular hits. Mom Bomb not hitting as hard here as I thought she was going to be. 300 to hit. Will put down Porum if it reaches the back row, as we saw she's down there. Fusoya hopefully making quick work of this. Kane jumping it, while Kohrek's going to give us a look at what the second boss is.
This should get... I thought that the Pound had Quake, but he must be a level or two off. But after this fight, definitely going to have your Quack Kid working for you. But at this point, gotta say, it's looking like Kohrek, assuming he can locate where this Luca Key and this Earth Crystal are, has a pass, is at Zeromus levels, so right now.
Remember, he may have the pass, but we still do have to conquer the White Spear Altar. He could just, as you said, go full clear the moon, and then come back down afterwards. Like, check all the key items that are up there. If there is, say, the Luca Key or the Earth Crystal up there, then he doesn't have to go back to the moon, come back down, clear the Earth, and then bing bang, you're done.
That's my strategy at this juncture, and yeah, I would just go immediately down to the bottom of the moon, clear everything, and then just do Earth and whatever pieces you think is fastest.
And here's Evil Wall at the CPU spot.
Ow.
Auto attacks are gonna hit hard. Honestly, this is still not the worst spot. Evil Wall is actually worse in the element spot. It has more HP. It is way faster than what it is here. Because this is like an okay speed spot. Like you see even 800 damage done on the back. Yeah, Rydia, it does not have the does not have any spells to help you with, my friend. Although the thing is while casting those nukes, you're gonna have the stone cast on them, the slow petrify as a reflected back. So not bad. Still good to cast the spells because she's doing a good 8k damage.
And I mean, as far as mean bosses at the Giant go, this is not a bad roll. Evil Wall, yes, could be more dangerous, but that CPU fight might be probably the longest fight you could roll at that spot.
And Evil Wall actually kind of working in your favor, in Kohrek's favor right now. The two people he had blinked was Porum and Rydia. Rydia doing the most damage right now. Ate that blink and ate those two attacks. Unfortunately, we have a mop on the floor. Someone pick that right back up, please.
He's going to need a shower after you get him back up.
So, interestingly enough, with the way it is here, one of the best things you could do, especially with the armor and everything that's on Cecil, you put everybody at low HP, you just constantly blink him, and all you have to do is heal / protect Cecil, and then you don't have to worry about attacks. Doesn't matter, Kohrek's in the fight, no problem. Whereas on Fritz's screen, we have the Baron Guards as the boss, and before that was Yang. Actually, even demonstrating what I'm just talking about here. Low HP, Cecil with that auto cover will make sure that your characters don't die. But yeah, the thing is you've got a nice quick knockout here. Throws away the Yang, which again, don't blame you. At this point, you got a Fu, you got a Quack Kid, you got a Cecil, you got a Kane. The only thing I would possibly replace that for would be what's on Kohrek's screen, an Edge right there. But with the levels he has, he's done his grind. He's not taking anybody else. He's got his team.
Yeah, that's one of the sorrier places to find an Edge. Unless you have some swords. I mean, he does still have all the moon bosses to take care of. Edge might get a decent amount of levels, but I'm pretty set in my ways at this point if I'm Kohrek.
Absolutely. The only thing he does is exactly what I do. Take that bandana, take that black belt, throw that on your Cecil or your Kane.
Your clothes, give them to me.
It's like, yeah, sorry, I need that armor for a sec, fam. Go hang out in the city. We'll get you later.
Yeah, we'll get you a robe or something.
Exactly. We'll come get you later, I promise. But yeah, as we said, Kohrek right up to the moon, full clear the moon, exactly as you need to do. Look for those key items because you just need 2 of them. Interestingly, I actually would have done Cave Bahamut first because you literally right there go in, get the boss, get out, so you don't have to think about it again. But he is checking the shop to see what's up on here, so we will get the shop check. Did Fryz miss out on those sirens? If he did, it's going to be a little heartbreaking. Just Mute Bells and Odin. Again, as I mentioned, Mute Bells would be fantastic, but he can just face roll pretty much any boss right now. Although he will still have to be careful in the Zeromus fight. As we've seen, you think you can face roll Zeromus, he's going to show you otherwise.
Z is the only fight that Kohrek probably has to concern himself with from doing anything besides just casting spells and punching.
And Kohrek checking and seeing that he's going to get himself a Lunar Quack Kid.
This is
right down.
So if I'm Kohrek and I knew that I could have also had Quack Kid on.
100%. This is one of those feels bad because you could have had this as well. Tower Key with Dwarf Castle, not bad. So that does mean the entirety of Babel is worth it. So that's more key item checks that we got there. Is something that you're absolutely going to want to enjoy because, again, 2 bosses, 2 key item checks. If your food wasn't online, it will be now. Checking these chests as well going up. Probably still looking for, again, some better weapons, which, again, don't blame them, because we have at best is a Poison Axe at the current moment and an Ice Brand on your Cecil and Kane. And you kind of want to get your bruisers to be, you know, that exactly, not just hitting like wet paper, like wet swords.
So, I mean, an interesting item from that Tower Key, something, a nice sword for Cecil would definitely give Fryz a lot of value out of this.
Interestingly enough and hilariously enough, as much as it's not like something you'd want to see, the Legend Sword would be pretty decent because that means you can just go trade that in for an Excalibur.
It would give you a forge. That's right.
Yeah, and you can also check a Cole's shop to see if maybe he's selling some better gear because that is usually weighted for some of the higher weapons and armor in the game, as well as Bacchus. But we already know Bacchus finds are available in Tomra. But there is still the possibility of finding some better, just some better weapons there.
You're certainly hoping to maybe outfit, even in Kohrek's situation, you're looking for some additional things for your characters to be putting on. Did not see what he pulled out of there. It's like a lunar rod.
I think just a lunar staff.
So not ideal.
Again, they're not. K-Trap is not on, or trap chests are not on. So there is the possibility they may have thought, oh, well, I can go get trap chests and check that as well. But there are key items are just on the moon, the earth, and summons.
Nice free fight here for Kohrek.
Yeah, we have the imp fight. Throw stones, they all fall over, no problem. That is a super free white spear altar right there. There's Meteor, there's Fatal, just a white shirt from the white spear. Kind of symbolic, but still good.
That's one more objective completed. And
yes.
Working our way forward.
Yeah, so
sure,
again,
not terrible as a stat booster, though.
Yeah, gonna be great to be thrown on Porum, gives you that little bit extra stats. Nice thing is, again, all we're doing is key item checks, so we're about to get a double check right here. Yeah, exactly what we're doing on there. Kohrek is basically just on a different style of hunt than what most people are used to. Gearing up that Cecil, again, as we see the Ice Brand Dragoon armor, basically as defensive as you can get with all you really need. What boss we have here? Valvalis sitting at the D-Lunar spot. This isn't a bad spot for her to be. Kane Jump's going to bring her out of the spins, but the magic spot here is really, really low, so don't expect those weeks to really land, which is very beneficial for him. So he won't have to worry about having to heal people up. Those punches, as you see, barely doing 200 to or 300 to a back row Rydia, with I think next to no gear. So this fight is not free in a sense, but it is you get a nice easy fight here.
This is, gotta say, one advantage of Kane, one of the few advantages of Kane, that that jump gonna open up the nukes for your mages, so you don't have to just leave her in the shell and punch repeatedly.
Well, the thing is there is a spot. It doesn't matter, but there is the points where if your attack is high enough, you will still hit through that. Let me actually take a check here. So we are at the lunar spot. So let's check to see what.
I believe this is one of them, but yeah, certain spots she can still take damage through that wall.
So this is actually the spot where magic does damage when she's not spinning. When she is spinning, magic has a lower chance of hitting her. So this is the spot where if you had, say, 4 berserkers and just berserked and went to town, you wouldn't have to care. But this is where cane jumping means that nukes are gonna are the only where you can hit them like that. But again, nice quick fight when you have 2 nukers, Kane and Cecil just doing work.
Let's see what we're looking at.
Rat Tail and Masamune, again, it's another key item check that it kind of adds up. Masamune would have been nice, but we're not taking that edge no matter what. Because again, we have the grind fully done. Everything's online. All we're looking for here is, again, just the 2 different key items. For as quick as this seed was to open everything up and the grind in, still a little over the hour in, and still, again, hunting those 2. What I want to see either a vanilla Earth Crystal location, or I want to see the Luca key hidden behind Heart. That's all I want to do. For the people, we need to get some magic. We need to get some music in.
Tunes would be a great thing to have here. There's still the possibility of a chain leading to that Earth Crystal or that Luca key.
And one of the last 2 boss fights.
Yeah.
So here's the elements. That means that in the summon monsters, we do have just regular Mylon. Mylon and friends are up here on the moon. The thing is that Ice is going to do a little bit less to this spot here, to the first boss, because Mylon resists more elements, is weak to Holy. Unfortunately, we have a Holy weapon for him yet, but Nuke says, I don't care what your elemental weakness is, fam. Take a good hit.
Yeah, Nuke, this not a super dangerous spot to find them in. Well, with a party like this, not going to be too many dangerous spots left, but...
You're going to watch Cecil just absolutely smack around the elements, no problem.
No more changes for you.
Yep, all we are rewarded with is just the spoon.
Ace Brand continually biting me for criticizing it on Monday.
I'm telling you, man, don't ever criticize the Ice Brand. It's such a great weapon. So nice brand hits, as we see some comments in the chat. Spoon, it's not a key item that's used, but it is still a key item on the whole. So it still counts towards the 10 key items. We're done the grind, so it doesn't matter in Kohrek's point. But just as an overall note, it's like if you see a spoon, it's not an instant reset out. The only one on that tracker lit up right now that's not necessary would be the pass. Also, as pointed out, top of Babel, we do have Luge, so that's another one wondering, is this even something?
Something rando, something. But it'll be a nice key item check. Fry's definitely in a position where you're hoping he locates 1 or 2 of these required key items, because as far as XP goes, certainly lagging behind where Kohrek's at, but not out of this race by any means.
No, absolutely not. Again, it's locating where those 2 key items are. If they're both in tower, then that actually gives Fry's a big advantage over Kohrek, because who knows when he's going to do that check. We do have Kainazo here at Wyvern spot, which is a fairly high-ish HP spot. Throwing out those Thor Rages, blasts away the water, no problem. Kane and Cecil doing a lot of damage, going to do a lot of damage with Ice. Nuke's still going to be no slouch either.
I mean, the amount of HP that you have here, Kainazo could be a threat in other situations, but even that first wave, the Cecil with 4,300 HP is probably going to be okay.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. That's not an excessive amount of HP. I'm pretty sure he can take 2 unnerved big bangs at this point on his own.
If you found a crystal sword, you could employ the strategy of just zerking Cecil and then just putting everything down and watching.
Yeah, and Kanazo's HP drops so low enough that he does next to no damage. There's the package from the top of the tower. That's a character check. We don't need that, though. It is another boss check, but we don't need any boss information. We have our demist, so there's no bosses we're looking for. All we really need now is, again, just to find those other 2 key items. If we find at least one of them up here, that tower is going to be required. Going to be nice to see. So there is the possibility that things can be required down here. If this does work out for Fryz, that's a heads-up play. Kohrek, on the other hand, finding the Legend Sword, that's a medium pickup right now. It's when he does go back to the Earth, that does give him the Excalibur, which, again, nothing to scoff at when you're rocking just the nice brand. Gives him that Holy Sword, gives him that big damage boost he's going to have, the second best sword in the game for him. And again, opens up the possibility of the shop.
Yeah, so that's definitely... I mean, while you're saying reflex strats are nice, but the amount of damage Cecil can do with an X-Cow in a Z fight isn't anything to scoff at anymore.
Absolutely.
And just for Q jamming.
Absolutely. And we do have Mylon and friends rocking up the cannon, so we do have that knocked out of the way. Nice. This is basically a free spot because this is where normally the 3 Dark Imps are. So usually a low HP. Mylon's screaming, "Oh, my body!"
J Mylon Z hunched over his Dex. And you want this Quake to... Oh, actually, no, there's not enough damage here for it to matter, but those gases when Mylon dies first can be very unkind.
Absolutely. Question in chat. Has Fritz gone checked Mylon? Hey, speaking of Mylon, we get the reprise of Z at the Masamune spot. So we have not had... He has talked to Yang, but he has not spoken with Sheila afterwards. He did a lot of the underground after checking the Sylph Cave.
So it's still a potential option there. It would be nice to see maybe Sheila 1 hiding something that was required, or even the pan, just to minimize the likelihood of Kohrek making that decision to keep these runners divided as possible.
Exactly, that's what you want to see. You don't want to see one person take a lead and then gain it. You want to see different advantages, like especially in the objective seeds. You know that just levels don't mean anything. Like they do, because that means that Kohrek's done his grind, and Fryz will still need to do his. But if Fryz is ahead in checks because he's done this and this and this and gained that, and they're checks that you don't normally think about or normally want to do, like a lot of people like to sleep on Babel and kind of leave it alone because, again, you have to walk out when you have the key to do it. Kohrek, speaking of, only getting a Moon Veil just for his troubles there. We're going to see if Fryz doesn't get something nicer here. But if there's some checks that people like to sleep on. There's a required tower, though. Luca key coming from the tower key. So that means that we are going to need to see Kohrek go underground at some point.
Dwarf into tower key into Luca key.
Should we call that French
Luca
vanilla dwarf castle then?
Perhaps. So that check, that could also lead to another required item. Which again...
Yep, we still have
Fryz. Yeah, Fryz gaining some momentum here.
Question in chat, do we have any value in Cave Bahamut? We are going to find out what Kohrek sees in Cave Bahamut, but as of right now, there's no real value on the moon whatsoever.
Rat Tail was the only item that got pulled out thus far.
Rat Tail and Legend Sword.
Oh, true.
So we do, again, the only value comes from getting Cecil a better weapon. But yeah, what we're looking for is basically the nice play for Kohrek here would be if this is where the Earth Crystal is, or if this is where Twin Harp leads into the Earth Crystal, because that's the only thing we have here. We do have a Yang here on the tower, so You guys are about to see just why this is a bad spot. Look at that damage. This may be a spot where Bahamut only casts Mega Nuke, but they did some really weird things, the devs, and he has probably the highest attack spot in the game here. This is not a spot to slouch. However, However, Karate Man is part of the vanilla game, where after 3 hits, if Cecil attacks him, he just auto knocks him down. So it's a free boss. Most people don't have it. No value in Cave Bahamut though, just an apple. So the moon is fairly haunted tonight.
If that rat tail turn-in doesn't have any value, then moon only required as far as completing that white spear altar.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If the rat tail doesn't pan out to anything, then you're going to be looking at something a little bit of an issue. It could though be rat tail into pan into Sheila checks, and Sheila could have something because again, Fryz hasn't checked Sheila yet, so we don't know what's there. There could be the possibility of something theirs as well.
We haven't seen the pan. We haven't seen the harp either. So those are both options for this rat tail outside of the earth crystal.
It could be, and my favorite interaction, I really hope this happens, rat tail into pink tail. If you've never seen that interaction, it's actually fairly entertaining. Just another Masamune. Unfortunately, literally no value from the moon, aside from objective completion tonight.
Haunted. I is going to give us check this key item coming up. I mean, the fact that it was a chain that started a dwarf is a very potential advantage over Kohrek, because dwarf would be a slower check over something like Feymarch, the 2 key items.
Absolutely. So where you are now as Kohrek, what's your mindset? What are you thinking, knowing what's going on?
I do like this throne check. You know, with the party that I have, depending on what I pull out of here, I really might consider Feymarch, even though Feymarch has never helped me in any race ever that I've ever run in my entire life, but I would keep going back.
Also, that is a different level of royalty here. We have a different King Queen sitting at the bottom of the throne. So the thing is we have Leviathan at Evil Wall. So all we saw was a glass helm from from the sealed cave. So not the worst. Free boss check down here. So what we are looking at is we have to chase the pan. We have to chase the pan now, which it seems like that's required. Pan or Twin Harp is going to come from one of the Sheila checks or coming from one of these summon checks. It's either coming from Odin, it's coming from King Evelyn, coming from Queen Evelyn, coming from Asura spot, coming from Leviathan spot, or it's coming from Sheila. Those are the 4 checks we have left to open anything. That's a pink tail. I would reset out of that personally, because you don't get adamant armor on this seed. We have the no adamants flag on for the entirety of the gauntlet. But it is a tier 7 armor, tier 7 weapon or armor. So you could get a crystal sword, you could get some armor. But as of right now, the only thing that we have going on is Fritz is doing an actual objective, whereas Kohrek now needs to just start clearing, and he needs to take the level advantage he has, and he just needs to start power farming those bosses. Like, he needs to go to the Feymarch, just absolutely decimate everything down there. Go visit Gang. That's about all you got going there.
We have not seen. Knowing where the value is and is not. Looks like he is going to turn that in. Maybe hunting for a better weapon for Cecil or Kane. Maybe a Stardust Rod, but we'll see if he does forge that X-Cal.
All it is Artemis Bow. Not a bad thing. Would be better if we had a Rosa. Still good on Porum if you throw that Artemis arrow with, or Artemis Bow with some other arrows. Does a lot of damage, especially against dragons. But aside from that, not something you want to see considering the team that we've got going on here. So we have we have to have Kohrek go underground, gonna be throwing down that Magna Key, and gonna be just railroading through these checks. Unfortunately, Fright's taking a reset on Leviathan here.
That it had to have been very close there, because I saw at least a nuke come out, and there's just under 20,000 HP in this spot.
I believe that's about what you're looking at stat-wise there. It's nothing to scoff at. Its magic power is fairly relatively low. So those Ice 2 shouldn't hurt. The big problem is the wave. If you're not really paying attention to it, it does percentage HP damage. So the thing is, you keep people at over half health, you're not going to have a problem.
I think that was probably the primary mistake there, was not keeping close enough track of the HP. There are healers in that group, and you might have just gotten caught up in that, just doing as much damage as possible.
Exactly, and Kohrek looks like debating between summon monsters is going to go check Kakol, so we do have an Excalibur on that Cecil now, or we will have an Excalibur on that Cecil. Gonna be doing a whole heaping lot of damage real soon.
Moving up from the Ice Caliber up to the Excalibur. I believe it was Ruby down in Feymarch, so we might see that come right back out.
Okay, so apparently I was mistaken. The magic stat at Evil Wall location is a lot higher than I expected. Those blizzards knocking out 1,600 damage on Porum and Palom, the twins going down very quickly.
You might consider Starveil on one of your white mages, or on your white mage, the Porum, just to reflect back those Ice 2 spells. Guarantee that you can keep the rest of your party up.
Yeah,
Fryz open out.
I don't blame him with his party levels right now, and with the way that boss has been literally handing him defeats. You go there, you get some levels, you come back. You have the ability, you can just run right through at that point. And again, having access to the knowledge of where this is, he does have that advantage. You should be taking your time and going and maybe grinding or something like that. And again, or maybe even hitting a couple of doors. But unfortunately, he's opened, I'm pretty sure, every one of the doors he went through with encounters off, so he didn't get a single fight. Chat confirming it, and yeah, we're seeing it as we go through here. It is very much barren. You think we are on the overworld right now.
Maybe Fry's heading up to the moon. Maybe, well, I wouldn't go giant. That CPU fight, as everyone's pointed out, is going to be a huge obstacle at whatever point the Fryz makes it there.
Well, the thing is again, giant is still where you do your grind. And Kohrek actually using the Bahamut, maybe just because he wants to have some swag with the
just
swag.
for the memes,
but the thing is again, you go to giant, that's where his grind is. Yeah, he'd be retracing Kohrek's steps, but that's where he could get the levels and then steamroll over. Whereas Kohrek is now wondering where he's going to be going. Is he going to be if he full clears the spots here and then does Dwarf Castle, it's going to be okay for him. But if he full clears here and then sleeps on Dwarf Castle, that could be a huge point of contention here.
Maybe the right play for Fryz there could have been Sheila 1 as well, knowing that maybe you're looking for a little more XP and a simpler fight.
Yeah, looks like he's finally checking that lunar shop. I'm gonna be disappointed not finding the sirens. So it looks like, aside from Evelyn K, we are sirenless. But Kohrek gonna absolutely see these bosses. Knows he's fought Mylon or Rubicante and friends, so gonna have a nice easy fight there. Octomom not gonna be doing a whole heck of a lot of damage. Nuke. And again, this is why you do blink strats, my friend. Half of Lydia's HP done there. Takes a lot of damage, but again, they're able to dish it out with the levels that they have here, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, if you had tried to take this on earlier, definitely going to want to do blinks. At this point, even if Rydia ends up taking a nap, I'm just going to continue attacking.
Absolutely. And the one thing is, the one little interaction that a lot of people might not know about is when Cecil is berserked. Normally, when he is not berserked, he will cover his allies when they're low HP. But berserk overwrites that, and he will not take hits for them. So he does actually have to heal that Rydia as opposed to leaving it at low health. But getting the quick hits on and the lovely sound of that holy sword, probably one of my favorite sounds in the game.
Maybe a little tunnel vision Cecil when he gets that Zerk put on, but doing enough damage. I'm not too concerned about this fight lasting for more than another 10 seconds or so.
No, this is going to be a quick look right there, right done. Not even 10 seconds. Nuke's doing a whole lot of damage. Fry's going up to Cape Bahamut, going to get himself some good XP if he can keep that Cecil alive. Seeing the Yang there, does he leave or does he know about the boss? He thought about it. He's going for it.
Yeah, fortune favors the bold. That pan gonna give us basically all the checks we haven't had so far.
So yeah, that means that he is gonna get that 2-for-1 though, so he does not have to go and see Sheila twice. He can just go and visit Kane or visit Yang twice. Just goes once. Fryz does reset out of the Yang fight though. If he had gotten Cecil up, everything would have been fine. But again, still not a bad idea to just reset out and go around. Whereas Kohrek is just going to make very short work of Rubicante.
Ruby not going to be long for this world. This pan turn-in will be interesting though, because if you pull out something like the Twin Harp, it's still in my mind, would be faster than going and fighting and sitting through that cutscene at Dwarf Castle.
Absolutely, but again, you don't know at this point, is there something at Dwarf Castle? Speaking of, there is Twin Harp, there's some music possibility, but at this point, you're in the underground, just completely remove it off of your radar. So go smack Yang, get the item from there, go and visit Dwarf Castle, get the Luca key, get the key from there, the tower key, hit up Babel. Like it's the way he's been doing it. He's been clearing. It's very methodical in the way he's been cleaning. He did the entirety of the overworld, then he did the moon. Now he's doing underground. So So it is a Feymark locked seed right now. As noted in chat by our restreamed Baka Shinobi, it is Feymarch required. So it's either going to be Asura or Leviathan spot required. But not sure
unless it's Sheila 1, which we'll also see. But very, very high probability that one of those two items was necessary.
Exactly. And we might not even need Sheila. We could get it right. We could get the crystal right here. Just Artemis arrows though.
Okay, well, let's see if you were right, if he's going to continue clearing out. I'll take those 2 quick checks.
And looks like he's going for the quick checks. So this is going to guarantee that... Oh, or, where are you going? Are we going to get some music? Oh, you're teasing me.
Right past it.
Right past. I was like, oh, come on. Nope. Okay, so we are getting the Sheila checks. Save outside, very, very smart. If nothing comes from this, quick reset out, saves you a little bit of running down, and then goes right back over, and then just needs to go over to the east, and we get ourselves a recheck. Whereas right now, Fryz is going and checking that the White Spear location. Going to be getting Dark Imps. This is going to be a lot of XP when he kills.
This can be very helpful for Fryz moving forward.
Yeah. However, those punches are
assuming
no slouch whatsoever.
Assuming he can get something off. Cecil in the middle is not probably your ideal anchor at this point.
Okay, so I didn't see what we got from Sheila 1, but I did see Sheila 2 was
the White Spear.
Arrows. So it is a music required Crystal Ring and White Spear. Thanks, chat, for pointing that out. So we do have music required. Whoever rolled this seed, thank you very much. You have answered all the prayers I ever have.
Now where do we go? Only really required locations left. My thought with why he wouldn't want to do tower or dwarf is he doesn't have the tower key yet.
Well, of course, you want to knock out both those checks at the same time. That's why I was thinking he was going to do Dwarf Castle first, and then go do the tower, because you get the key from there, and then go along that way. But it seems he wanted to just check out the Sheila checks, because again, nice and quick, could be something easy. The nice thing about that White Spear, though, is the reason why I didn't reset out, that's a really good weapon for Kayn. Arguably his best. If you want to talk to Invenerable about it, he likes to think that the Defender Sword is better. Higher accuracy, same-ish attack power, so you get the bit of the argument back and forth there.
Holy damage is nice, and as far as whether he goes Reflect strats or some sort of hybrid strat,
I mean, at this
that
point,
will give Kayn a little additional damage.
At this point, with double holy weapons between the X-Cal and the White Spear, you're going to be rocking out a whole heaping amount of damage on those bruisers now.
Yeah, if I'm Kohrek, I'm going hybrid strats, and I don't think you see a second Big Bang.
No, definitely not with the levels that you've got on that Rydian, that you've got on that Fu. You just throw the Curse Ring on Fu. Yeah, he's not going to do a heckin' a lot with those nukes, but he's going to get the job done.
And the champion of the people. Making our way to music. Dodging the save, and alright, chat. Let's see what we end up with here.
The only problem is we're not going to get a whole heck of a lot of time of the music because of the levels that Kohrek's got. So that's the only downside. But we have to go through his attack script first, while Fryz is making another poke down into the Fey March. Yeah, with that script done, we will let the music take it over. Even with this being the highest magic defense spot in the game, Nuke's still doing a good 3,000 damage here. The song 1000 AD from Chrono Trigger, absolutely a fantastic track. Sounds really good on the harp remix. For those of you who may not know what's going on, we like to have a little bit of fun here. There's two things we've randomized even more so than just the bosses. We have custom music that we have done in. There's the Earth Crystal in its vanilla location behind the Twin Harp. So a lot of vanilla here. But yeah, we have a couple of things that we have little customs. We have between the Z sprites, we also have the music here that Edward gets to play for us. And it's always nice hearing other Square Enix songs. Chrono Trigger being a very fantastic RPG. Scala Kitty, who is one of the ones who does all the sprite works, coming from her namesake game.
Well, obviously, we're going to get this Earth Crystal check immediately. And then it's really down to and the tower for Kohrek, so he'll be making his way to completing these final things relatively shortly here.
So unfortunately, Kohrek not knowing this, he may think, oh nice, this is going to be maybe an Earth Crystal into a Luca Key. That'll be a nice 2-for-1. We know here, we are in no mode because we know where every single one of the key items are. He's not going to get anything besides maybe a good piece of gear, maybe a crystal sword. But we have to go through Dwarf Castle to get that tower key, to get the Luca Key afterwards.
So not much left to gain from this besides obviously the Earth Crystal being required. But narrowing down the list of available options as Fryz taking a wipe to that Rubicant. Would hope that Ice Brand didn't seem to do quite as much damage as I was expecting. But I'm not sure if that's still what Cecil's rocking.
No, and at that point, what you'd even be doing is you could have Cecil as just a little background there. And here's a free fight, the Water Hag, sitting at Sandy, Cindy, Mindy. So the thing is you still want to have Kane equipped with the Ice Brand and have him do jumps because he won't trigger that Fire 2 counterattack, and all you'll have to do is deal with the glare. Not that big of an issue to deal with, but still not really one to be hanging out with.
Yeah, Fry's struggling to find a fight that a party at this level can get through, as Baka is saying in the chat. You're really at the point where, having not found sirens, that giant grind is looking a lot more valuable.
Absolutely, yeah. At this point, you'd be looking at and we do have a duplicate Fu in the seed. So Fu is our dupe character. At this point, with the team that he's got, if I was Kohrek, I would be kind of tempted to take that. It's a fully powered Fu, will not take full damage from those big bangs.
Fourth spellcaster.
And you could just have Cecil or Kane or heck, you know what? At this point, hear me out. I love my boys. You know that. Drop Fu, or drop Kane, drop Cecil, take the Fu, take the Sid. Sid's your anchor. You have 4 mages that are just going to do absolutely bonkers damage. So I think he may have the same idea that I've got going on here. Inventory, absolutely the final boss of this game.
Yeah. We'll see if he keeps that Sid as well.
Sid
I'm
is
with you in theory.
Okay, no, he doesn't do it. The smart play is like the smarter play here, in my personal opinion, would be get rid of Cecil. Get rid of Cecil for Kane or for the Sid. Baka does note in chat that Cecil is fine because he does faster damage than Nuke. That is true, but at this point, you could just set up pure reflex strats, and you don't have to worry anything about having to do any melee damage.
Still, I would probably anchor with one of the Fus, and then I would put Cecil up top as the person with the wall, just because you don't have to worry about healing him up.
And we do have a Wyvern right here. This is where the boy was hiding. What's his attack? Just regular Mega Nuke.
It's off the wall, too. Doesn't get slowed down. Well done.
Yeah. Not a bad place for him to be. Again, just eats his own Mega Nuke and goes down. Kills the rest of the party, but it doesn't matter when you're already this high level ahead.
I don't think the XP is something that...
No, absolutely not.
It's going to lose any sleep over at this point. Fryz tried to make his way into...
Looked like he was going to do lower Babel, but... Again, still struggling just a little bit to get some footing here. Should be... Baka represent saying preserving the slingshot on Fu. That is true. Fu is actually technically 10 levels below, so he could
double XP.
He could get double XP and get caught back up ahead. Zeus Gauntlets, Very nice for Cecil. That's going to make him do even more damage, as if you need him to do. The only thing missing for him to do even more damage is going to be a crystal sword.
And okay, Kohrek making the right choice. Granted, there weren't many options available at this point, but when you get his tower key, going to make his way into Luca. It's a Z fight soon enough.
Yeah, absolutely. So now for Kohrek, it's basically now he has to follow these chains. So he's got to go Luca into tower, or sorry, dwarf into tower, into Luca, and then he's going to be on his way to, and then he can just take the pass and go right on up there. While Fryz still has to do a lot of work. Mostly the level. The big thing that kept these runners apart was the levels. Fryz had the knowledge earlier on, but the levels holding him back a little bit.
I was excited to see that Eblin dive, just because if he managed to pull out some sirens from there, that would certainly give him a quicker route to be able to clear out those Feymarch bosses he was throwing himself at.
Yeah, again, a couple of eggs being cracked would help him a whole heaping lot. But as we've seen, no sirens really on the seed. Silk Web, which is nice, but Mom even getting that extra 10k HP. Nuke says, "I don't care about your HP. Take a couple of these in a white and get out of my face."
Not long for this world. Not nearly as much of a struggle with these levels as Fryz with his early team.
We finally have the adult Rydia. Again, fantastic looking sprite. Sprite work again done by Skull Kitty. Well done with the different sprites. Even the Foo's rocking blue and green.
Dome landing. That's a quick kill. I set it up to Earth without the crystal. Interesting choice.
Could just be going for the boss for some bonus XP. Again, when you're at this point where you've been in a little bit of a struggle, you'll take the XP where you can get it. Any level is a good level. Also, again, looting every chest he's been seeing, maybe looking for some better gear. There is still the possibility of finding like half-decent armor and weapons anywhere, so he could just be looking for anything to bolster his damage, bolster his armor, so he can take the hits.
But there's that trap chest.
Yeah, Kohrek getting the tower key, going to be making, I'm pretty sure, a beeline after checking what's here. Ethers and elixirs again. Nothing really special. The ethers would be nice for the old men, but you're basically got everything you need. That Zeromus isn't going to be long for the world when he gets up to it.
This is a free boss fight for Fryz.
Yeah, that is the nice thing about Water Hag being here. This is a fairly decent XP spot. There have been people who've done very weird grinds and where you kill off the other two sisters here, raise them, and you get XP for them coming back. But Water Hag here, just 3 quick hits, a fair amount of XP for the levels that he's at. Might see Palinumporum hit around the 800-ish HP mark, depending on what levels he gets out of here. Whereas Kohrek is beelining up the tower. Wonder if he's going to make the stop off and see the cannon first, or is he going to go straight up to the tower, going straight up, right past that cannon, hitting it up on the way back down.
Yeah, you're not concerned about losing any fights here, which would be the primary reason you would do that, and then take a save on the way up.
And I actually didn't see earlier, but we do have the dolls as one of the bosses in Upper Babel, so the dolls taking Rubicante's spot. The only place we have not seen them is going to be the King Queen Eblin spot. I believe actually with this knowledge, we will have checked every other boss location. Unless chat can correct me for where we have not also package spot is another spot. Sorry. So there's 2 boss locations we will not have seen this run so far.
Package, and maybe did anyone check the Mist Cave? We got demissed so early that there wasn't much of a point.
That's true. Yeah, demist and Waterfall had Bahamut. I remember that. Yeah, Mist Cave. So 3 bosses. So we are a 31 out of 34 seed. Kohrek going for some swag. I think Bahamut having its moment to shine.
Sometimes you got to. I mean, the Bahamut's basically just a nuke that you can cast on multiple people.
The thing is, it's also got a slower cast too. Whereas Nuke is an insta-cast spell, Mega Flare is, I think, half as fast as Meteor at least, a little bit lower magic power, but still a very strong hit. Yeah, nothing more than these nukes required. Low HP spots here. You're just going to be absolutely decimating anything in your spot here.
Just picking up that curse string. That was definitely a detriment to his previous attempts at the Fey March in that Leviathan spot. It was just a lack of anchoring. And Kohrek giving us the long blinky walk.
Again, the HP he has and everything, he doesn't care. Nothing's getting a turn before him. And considering it's Mylon and friends, if we see either a Quake or a Mega Flare here, yeah, we're seeing another Mega. Oh, no, he's just doing Quake. I was going to say, we're going to get another Mega Flare, we're going to get a reprise of Bahamut. Quick Quake, knock him out. Whereas Fryz is taking another shot down here at the evil wall.
This up. We've all fallen down that road before.
I do it, I think, probably every other run.
Anytime I try to go fast at that spot.
Some comments in chat. There are some extra quality of life things that you're not always seeing because you don't check the custom screen. There is the ability to turn off all flashes, so you wouldn't see any of the flashes when you're going through the Fey March or these poison tile effects either. So, but yeah, the levels that Kohrek has is absolutely absurd. This Zeromish, when he eventually goes there, is going to be absolutely nothing. But yeah, with the tower key, walking out, gonna get the Luca key, run right down there, and then fly over to Victoria, and it's gonna be almost time, but still a little bit left while these runners are both in the same area.
Not quite time, but certainly that Leviathan isn't gonna slow Kohrek down at all.
No, even with the high magic spot there, he's got the HP, he'll be able to tank those no problem. A couple of flares and some hits from Cecil, and it's going to go down fairly quickly.
Last locationing the Luca key, unfortunately, but...
And we are going to have, as soon as that crystal comes in, we're going to have our very favorite number coming in, meaning it is going to be a full clear seed. But yeah, Kohrek is basically in go mode right now.
There it is, Baka. We'll have a 17-17. That tracker getting all the button pushes. And there we go. Okay, Fryz picking on that strategy of throwing out those Star Veils.
Yeah, got the Star Veil on Forum, so he's going to have a healer up 100% while he has Kane doing some jumps, so means that it is a higher chance of hitting Forum, which is great. Those nukes doing a lot of damage too. It's not dropping Fu, thankfully, but
Fu will have a chance.
Still doing a whole lot of damage. Those Cure 2s would keep him super topped up, no problem. Porum may need a potion thrown at her real quick, but aside from that, this boss is going to be fairly straightforward from now on. It's throw out some Cure 2s, lure the potion. There we go. Yeah, throwing up Cure 2s on Porum, nukes from Fu, maybe a Cure 2.
Third nuke might have enough to do it as well.
That's
that's less than ideal.
And you see the power of the Dragoon armor. See, again, with the Dragoon armor, you take half damage from all elemental effects, and it also has a very high magic defense stat. So he is basically your tank here, minus the percent damage, and we see a lot of damage. The thing is if he wanted to do this fight a little bit slower, but really safe, he could just sit like this with Porum there, throw out those Cure 2s, and just wait for the Star Veil to run out and reapply it. And also needs to time a little bit better because he keeps letting Fusoya eat those waves. So he needs to wait for the wave to happen, then cast the life, and then he can start bringing people back up and stabilizing. Even though this will still let him grind out the fight. Whereas on the other side, we see Kohrek just throwing nukes all over the place.
Power overwhelming.
There's no kill quite like overkill.
Yep, that's over. After a short run, we're going to get our first runner. Well, it's officially in go mode.
And officially at 17 out of 17. And yeah, the Leviathan at this spot is super rude. Not a happy place for it, especially if you've got lower levels. If you've got higher levels, the wall runs out, and there goes. It's a reset you don't want to see, but it's got to happen. But yeah, Kohrek just making the warp exiting out, whereas Fryz might be trying another location again.
It's Kohrek fully illuminated.
And even in a fairly decent time, too. Only an hour and 50 minutes, and he's cleared everything. Again, the benefit of spending about a third of the match time doing the D-Machine grind, you get that power. You can then just go around every boss and say, I'm sorry, what did you have for me? Let me take your lunch money. And again, going the wrong spots. Like we said, went up to the moon, which was the problem. Because it was completely empty. The only benefit it gave was it gave Cecil the better sword. So we have that going on.
And yes, in chat, feel free to bust out those Z flags. It is time.
So throwing down the battle speed a little bit too, which is kind of smart because I don't believe Fu. I think with Fu, even with the cursed ring, puts his agility still above the 11 mark. So we might have, so you will have to lower the speed just that little bit extra.
And I believe there's a relatively important question that we're gonna have to ask at this point.
So you are right. It is a very important question. Do you? I did it the first day. I did the first day. Do you want to do it this time? Or do you want me to do it again?
I'll take it. I think I remember how it goes.
My friend, what question do you have for me?
Oh. Whose butt are we going to be kicking tonight, Deathless?
All right, chat. Get your guesses in. Let's see who we're going to be going up against. But yeah, this is the other thing. The sprite work. Scarlet Kitty doing multiple different versions of the sprite work. As you see the recoloring of the sprites on all of our characters. Additionally, she throws a little bit of fun because everything is rando. Zeromus is always in the same spot. We can't randomize him, but we do randomize what sprite he is. That's why we ask, well, whose butt are we kicking tonight? As soon as that crystal is cast, we're gonna see who it is. Let's see what we got going on here.
And just to point out, Fry's making it to that Eblin shop. No sirens in the seed.
You have a lightsaber for Cecil, though. That would have been nice earlier on. But we are going to get Zeromus's true colors revealed here. That is a fantastic sprite. Holy crap.
Scala with the outrageous Showdanimus.
Yeah, as chat reminded me, I couldn't put the name of the game. It was on the tip of my tongue. From System Shock. That is fantastic work. Doing the full nerfing of the Big Bang. Flare not hitting the person you want, but Rydia's going to be eating those reflected nukes, no problem. Cecil, probably just going to be doing straight basic attacks. But this is a Zeromus fight that is not going to be long. Even Porum, not as good as Rota, excuse me. The second white mage that we have, getting in some whites too. Slower than Nuke, but damage is damage.
Porum accounts amongst the white mages.
And Scala actually correcting 100%. That's not just Shodan from System Shock. It's specifically System Shock
2. Fry's getting some much needed XP with those hourglasses. Assuming they continue down that hook route, we'll net them a little more.
Absolutely, and Kohrek eating the first Big Bang, everybody taking it like a champ. Cecil, I generally don't think, he's just there for a chemist. He's actually not even attacking. So we're gonna have nothing but reflex strats. This is gonna be a nice quick fight.
Yeah, Cecil just there to look pretty, while everybody else does the work.
Ironically, in a vanilla sprite though, so he's not as pretty as the rest. And Fry's finding himself the other old man. So we have the three old men, Tella sitting underground. Not a bad character to have. He's got all of his spells, so he's like an okay black mage. Doesn't have Quake though. But Virus can still do a whole heaping lot of work.
And Kohrek looking at, I mean, sub 2 hours with these flags is not shabby, particularly for a 17 out of 17, 31 out of 34.
Yeah, again, it was getting that Darkness Crystal super early, getting the food. It was basically, we're going to gift you your early grind options. Took the characters he took. It's knowing the fact that we had the double Fusoya, probably smart he didn't take the Palom in the end. But still, absolutely fantastic set of team for him to be having here. There's the flashes. Looks like the time of 1:55.16, if I saw correctly. GG's to Kohrek. 100% a great run. Get the official time in a few minutes. But let's see. Let's see if we can't get Kohrek in for an interview. Yeah, while we do that, we have Fryz in the underground, going through one of those trap chests with the four Mad Ogres. Hopefully, going to get him a little bit extra XP.
Whatever axe that. Oh.
And we are in fact joined by Kohrek. GG's on your first place finish, my friend.
Well, thank you very much. GG's. Thanks for the commentary.
Thank you. So that was a really fast speed. You were gifted a Fu and gifted a Darkness Crystal. What were you thinking, like, from the beginning of the seed onwards, essentially?
Well, I mean, not only that, but we got the Magma Key. I mean, obviously you get underground really early, but you had that Magma Key, so it wasn't like a hook route, like delayed underground, maybe I get the Magma Key later thing. It was, okay, the entire world is open, what do you do? And I had a seed like this very recently where I kind of just went all over the place and I couldn't make any decisions on what I wanted to do. So I was like, okay, we're not going to do that today. So I basically just full cleared the overworld, and especially since Giant was one of the objectives, it was full clear overworld, find characters that I want to slingshot, and let's go do it.
Did you feel a little bad when you saw that Palom at the moon right after you finished your slingshot?
I mean, I was like, huh, all right. But in reality, like, you know, Rydia is fine, especially when she gets up to super high levels, and you know, Borum's good. Obviously, especially at that time, I had Ogre Axe and I think Ice Brand for my other guys. I'm like, well, I would love to have a powered up Palom, but it is what it is.
I don't think it really costs you anything in the broad sense, but that was one bit that was interesting. CPU fight was very meanly placed.
Yeah, that's a pretty terrible spot for CPU. I got really lucky in the first attempt. I got the float on the right reflecting right to the attacker, so that helped out a great deal. But it still was a bit of a slog.
Now, Moon was haunted yet again, as we've seen in a fair amount of these seeds, aside from the fact of Conquer the White Spear. What was your thought as you finally full cleared the rest of the entirety of the Moon?
I mean, it doesn't feel great, right? Because I already had the levels when I started it. But at the same time, I figured there's one of two ways you could go on this seed. You could like try to, you know, put off the Moon stuff, but you probably also put off the Giant at that point. But where I stood, the Moon really didn't take all that long, and I knew once I got back to Earth and Underground, I just completely tear through everything. So it's like, everybody has to go through that CPU in this seed, and I did that. I have this powerful party. I got the X-Cal from the Moon, so at least there's that. You know, it didn't feel great, but it also seemed okay, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, it's the logical choice to make. It's just, you know, Brando doesn't always want to comply with, you know, what makes sense at the time.
Oh, and as we see coming up on the screen here, the very early play of Antlion Cave. What kind of thought did you have as soon as you saw not only the Antlion, the Demus in the Antlion spot, but a key item actually from that fight as well? What was the whole mindset as soon as you saw that super early on?
I mean, like I said, I had that seed where it was like really open recently. I'm like, oh man, how much is this going to open up right away? Like, this is, I was freaking out a little bit, you know, but, you know, I just like said, okay, we're just going to stick with the plan. We're going to go, you know, 1, 2, 3. We're going to, you know, get this overworld cleared. And, you know, I'm like, hey, at least I don't have to check, you know, the Vanilla Mist Cave. Hey. But,
absolutely. That was actually one of the places we didn't have a lot of people check. We do have Kohrek checking the underground or not Kohrek, you're Kohrek. Fryz checking the underground as we're talking, seeing that we do have some fights down there. There's Magus Sisters down there. Knowing that it was just the quick seed, I know it wasn't a big change, but why go when you were underground and you could have just done Dwarf Castle? Why did you go check Sheila as opposed to just completely clearing the underground minus Tower of Babel, since you didn't have the tower key?
I mean, Sheila was I had Sheila and I had Twin Harp up there, so I mean, there was 3 items up there. I mean, Twin Harp and Dwarf Castle, they both. I mean, Dwarf Castle might be like slightly faster, but maybe not by much. And there was 2 really free items up there from Sheila, so I figured maybe, you know, if somebody went underground in this seed right away, they'd probably do Dwarf Castle quickly. And if everything is there, then that puts me in a bad spot. So let's go to the stuff that's like behind the pan, that was behind the Fame Arch bosses, which you probably don't do right away.
Yeah, and so one last question. Before coming into today's matches, how many practice seeds have you done in preparation for the Gauntlet?
I feel like I'm probably in like the top 5 as far as like number of completed 5 objective seeds. I have played a lot of these. I couldn't give you an accurate count. It's probably somewhere around 40, maybe more. I don't know. 50, whatever. It's a lot.
That's always good. Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for being part of our runs tonight. GG's to you, my friend, on your first place finish. Again, 155.15. Not a slouch of a time whatsoever.
Thank you, and again, thank you for the commentary and the restream, everybody. Everything's been great. Joining the Free Enterprise community, it's been a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see what this tournament has to bring.
GG, we're happy to have you on board.
Fantastic. Okay, so that was Kohrek for the first place winners of this round of this 1v1. 1 win, 0 losses. Going to be going into the second round. Fantastic run with a nice jet seed. That is, let's see. We are going to be joined by Fryz in a moment as well. Give us a little bit of insight on that seed. He did very well considering what it looked like and where he was doing his pathing. So never hurts to get a little bit extra insight. But again, fantastic still opening set of round matches from everybody.
Yeah, very well done. Both runners. Kohrek definitely showing off one of the more important strategies for these flag sets in getting that grind out of the way and clearing everything that comes across your path. And have you communicated with Fryz? Are we going to get an interview? Or,
I have. He said he was going to. Okay, let's.
Oh, there he is.
One moment. And we are joined by Fryz. GG's, my friend. That was a hard seed from what you had, but still very well played by you. Your mic maybe. Oh, he can't hear us, so give us one quick second.
Never been any trouble with interviews.
Give me a second. All right, can you hear us now, Fryz?
Yes, I can. How's everybody doing?
Hey, GG.
Fryz. Again, GG on your run. That was a fairly rough seed. If you don't know specific grind strats, I saw you were looking around for sirens everywhere. Have you ever done the D Machine grind before?
I actually have not. That's one of the few grinds I have not done.
All right, well, that might be a little bit of a thing for the future. Again, still well done. You made a valiant effort in the seed. You did show us a lot more. You did find the Luca key ahead of Kohrek there, so you did a fantastic job overall. You did showcase diverging pathways. What was your mindset in the beginning of the seed as it started and as you were getting everything quickly?
So I'm thinking to myself the whole time, like, where is this going to go south? Because obviously, it's going to go at some point. But it's just like, okay, I'm getting this. Let me go check this. And it just kept following a rabbit hole, and it seemed like everything seemed to be working until I just got to the point where I got to the sealed cave, and it's like Leviathan said no.
Yeah, that's a fairly high magic spot location. So if you're not leveled up there, if you don't have the gear, like you saw Kane with the Dragoon armor, he was taking no damage, but everybody else was still taking a bit of a beating from those Ice 2s.
Yeah, I was surprised Cecil was too, because I had him mostly decked out in crystal armor.
The reason being is the Dragoon armor, it might not have as high of magic defense, but it straight halves the element damage from ice, fire, and lightning.
That'll do it.
All in all, very well done. Very valiant effort. And yeah, a seed where that D Machine grind, particularly with those sirens not showing their face at all, was really almost, required. You didn't see it, but up there at the Giant was also the CPU fight, which was going to be very daunting for anybody.
Yeah, I was thinking about going to the giant and just like, wait a minute, let me. No, I'm not there yet. I'm just gonna get bodied in there like I'm getting bodied everywhere right.
Absolutely. But again, you did show different areas you went to try and go through, did some more XP finding in different locations. You still did fantastic. How many seeds have you done in preparation for the Fabul Gauntlet?
I've only had enough time to do like 3 or 4.
Again, still well done. You showed that you knew enough to go where to go, where to try and keep your checks within the same kind of range. You did a fantastic job. Don't don't worry about it. Again, hopefully the next round you'll be able to put up some different things and be able to pull a better, maybe a better time, or again just do more, just make yourself more fantastic as you go through.
Yeah, you were definitely in it up until maybe when you got down into that sealed cave and hit that Leviathan fight.
Yeah, because up until that point, everything felt like it was running smoothly, and like just gotta practice this week. And now I have a VOD to watch just to see where we diverged and learn some new strategies.
Absolutely. Again, that's the thing. Learning, take everything you can from this. Me being still even a newer runner myself, that's all I've done all the time. Again, thank you very much for joining us, and thank you very much for the post interview.
All right, no problem, guys. Everybody have a good night.
Take care. And we are going to be headed over to RPG Limit Break. Thank you, Dathis, for hopping in and co-commentating with me, and for Baka Shinobi for tracking, and for Ikir. I'm sorry, Baka for the restream and Ikir for the tracking.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, thank you very much for our runners. Please give them a follow. They did a great job. They do fantastic work here. Again, my co-commentator PK4787, Baka Shinobi again on Restream. Ikir doing a fantastic job tracking. We are going to have another run in about an hour's time afterwards. We have a lot of free enterprise running happening tonight. I believe we're having TH11 VDAN versus Slippery for their first run, and it's going to be Air and Twisted Flax doing that. So if you like one way or the other, you've got a lot of free enterprise going.
I'll be back to watch that one.
Yeah, you got a whole lot of free enterprise still going on tonight. We got a lot of runs and seeing how much randomizer we can get in. Because again, this is still just the first round. We've got, I believe it's 4 rounds of Swiss before we start going into the bracket stage.
Thank you, everyone, again, and we'll see you either back here over at RPG Limit Break. I'm playing Air tomorrow, so I'm gonna listen to that commentary, see if I can't glean anything that might help me out.
Yeah, and again, that's going to be a fantastic run. If you do that one way or the other, good luck to you in your run. And again, GG's and good night, everybody.